So I've been quite busy lately, and when I did have time, I decided to deal with an ongoing problem with the potato plants, and that was the aphids. My first plan was to try Perithian spray. That worked a little bit, but the aphids came back. The next thing I tried was an insecticidal soap, which I've used successfully on houseplants, but I've never used on garden plants or vegetable plants. So I tried that. Unfortunately, I think between the attack from the aphids and the insecticidal soap, it was just too hard on the potato plant. So it started to get quite weak. It looked pretty much dead. And so the decision was made either to see if we let it go or to just harvest it. And the call was made to just harvest it. So we cut it down, dug up the dirt to see if any potatoes had grown. The plant itself didn't quite get to the flowering stage, but it looked like it was quite ready. It had grown some of the flower buds. So when we dug it up, it turned out that actually it had grown quite a bit of the potatoes, about 3 centimeters diameter or 1 inch, maybe a little bit more. So we cooked that up and had a nice dinner with those. And actually, it tasted quite nice. Not in short form. Quick answer is yes, you can grow potatoes in a house or indoors, unless you have to deal with an aphid problem. If you can keep up on the aphids or not have an aphid problem, then you could they'd probably do quite well. But I would never intend to do it intentionally, only if it was just to save some potatoes and just try it. Just because of the problems we have with aphids here, I don't think I'd ever do it again indoors. The other thing I did was we got a greenhouse given to us, and this is the greenhouse here. And I wanted to try it out, test it before we actually threw it in the yard, and just make sure we had all the pieces and parts. Otherwise, we could have returned it. And then the decision was made. Once we had it set up in the house, we checked it all out. Decided we actually used the shelves to organize our plants and give some more space. And the shelves actually gave more space than what we had from the 2 tables. So I helped organize the plants, and just to keep the shelves stable, and I just left the whole thing assembled. So I'm just going to go in and take a look at the greenhouse here, see how things are coming along. And there's not much that's been planted that hasn't come out. Everything's doing quite well. Again, the weather hasn't been good. It's been pretty much overcast and cloudy for about a week here. That's what I'm missing the label on. Oh, there we are. Honeydew. So one's kind of looking a little sickly. The other one's doing quite well. Again, this is why I plant so many. Persimmons. We're trying out some persimmons this year. Cucumbers and zucchinis have been put into pots. And again, they're struggling. These are our peppers, Thai chilies. Actually, I think I might even relabel these ones. I think the ones that were in the strawberry pots, I would label as Thai chili, or actually just sweet chilies. So I'll double check on that, and I have to correct the labels. My habanero is still coming along, as slow as it is. Mint really loves it in here. I found that mint plants actually like a lot of humidity. So it's doing great. I might trim it back and get it to bush up a little bit more. It's got some great flavor to it. One of my corns is toppled over. Unfortunately, it hasn't really grown a good root system to hold itself up, so I'll have to prop that up and add a little bit more soil in there. I think the water's just put the soil down. Another one's fallen over too again. The soil's just getting washed down from the being watered. Black tomato, I pruned this one, and it's taking its sweet time adjusting to that. The rest of the tomato plants have grown so well, actually I had to move them down onto the floor. They're just too tall for the shelves in here. These are the beefsteak from the cuttings, and they're doing, or actually this one is, it's doing quite well. The squash soleil is doing really good. In this corner we do get a lot of sunlight. This was where I had the tomato plants, Again, they're down the floor, so now I've got room to bring some of the stuff that's really straining for light into this corner. Another cabbage. Now the cabbage I had that had grown seeds, or was starting to grow seed, had some kind of watering issue or something happened, and it died really quickly, so I didn't get seeds out of that. That was unfortunate, but yeah, try it again. Some just random flowers for our flower beds. Cucumbers, pink gardenia, some zucchinis. They're all loving it in here. They're doing quite well. Some more of the chili peppers. Now these were just ravaged by aphids. The plant itself seems to be doing good and starting some new shoots. So we'll see how those come along. I'm rather disappointed with all the aphid problems we're having. They don't seem to like the habaneros though. That might be an interesting thing to keep in mind. Yellow zucchini, dill. The aphids haven't really bothered with the dill. I think they've got enough choices in here that they can avoid the dill. Pomegranates, that's another interesting plant we've got going here. I'd be curious to see how that goes. And more of our zucchinis. Oh, I've got long English, some yellow zucchini, some squash soleil, so a good mix of different ones. Down here, cucumber long English. Got a lot of cucumbers, can never have too many, and again, who knows what's going to happen with these. Pumpkin, there's a cabbage that we put in water, much like the other one I just showed you. This one's got a few more weeks on it, so it's doing great. And this is actually a nice looking persimmon tree coming along. It has some really interesting leaves, a nice shiny leaf to it. And another cherry tomato, some avocados, and that about wraps it up here. Now, I do have some herbs I started as well as soon as I set this up. And I've got tarragon, thyme. You never have too much time, ha ha ha. And we go back out here. I started some kale outside, and actually it's done quite well. These are the tomato cuttings I threw in water, and lots of healthy looking roots here. So sometime this weekend I'll be transplanting those into some pots. Trying some, we've got a house plant in here, I can't remember what, oh, it's from a leaf that fell off our Dom King plant. So I've got that, seeing if it'll grow some roots. Along with the celery stalk that broke off. And I'm just going to see, throwing them in water, they're going to grow roots, what they're going to do, if anything. In here should be a mango seed, red mango. And this mango has come out, and it's doing quite well. Planted on March 2nd. Again, this is a red mango as well. So it'll be a nice change for, have some tropical plants that, I don't know if they'll ever grow fruit or what they'll do, but it'll be a nice addition to our indoor plants. Hollyhocks are coming along great. These will be a nice addition to the flower bed. We have some peppers outside here. And see how they do. It's kind of nice to try some in the greenhouse, indoors, and then some just keep them on the table and have a nice comparison of how things do with or without that greenhouse. And I've got another habanero out here. I love habaneros. I didn't label this pot, and I can't even remember what I threw in here, but I threw some extra seeds of something. So we'll find out when they come out. Once you've grown a few plants, you tend to know what they are since they sprout, once they break surface. This habanero is done. Looks like the aphids had a good snack on that one. More controlled. Another red mango. This one hasn't come out yet. And I believe this is another mango. I'm just trying to figure out what this one is. I'm missing the label on this one. I think this is a mini pumpkin. And I can't seem to find the label on this one, so could be a surprise. This is one of our garden mums. We bought these last year when they were on sale at the end of the season. And it's growing these 2 stalks now, and we should be getting flowers soon, so that's going to be fantastic. I thought I'd only grown mini pumpkins, and I do recall planting a couple of the larger pumpkin seeds, and I believe this is one of them. And just fighting and controlling the flowering. As soon as I get any flower buds, I'm cutting them off. Try to push it into focusing on green growth. This is a mini pumpkin. I always have at least 1 or 2 mini pumpkins out in the yard. And again, I come by and I get these little flower buds. And just pull them off. Because the flowers take a lot of energy to grow. So take those out, and then the plant can focus its energy on growth. And this is a honeydew vine that's growing here. That's actually looking really healthy. So we've got a few honeydews. That's great. Pineapple still doing its thing. Now I've got some Chinese celery here, and it started to bolt. It's growing some flowers, so might have some seeds from this. I'm hoping it does give me seeds and doesn't do like the average other cabbage had done, and give me seeds and then just die before the seeds could mature. And there's another of the avocados. So that's about it for this week. Again, until things get better, or until spring actually arrives, there's not much to do out here. So until then, take care.